You know that frustrating moment when you see a familiar face. You wave hello, but the name just won't come to you. It's right there, on the tip of your tongue, but it feels locked away. Maybe you've even joked about it or worried quietly that it's a sign of something more serious. But what if I told you that forgetting names is rarely about your memory failing, and more about how your brain has been programmed to file information over the last 60 years? In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you why this happens and share a simple, almost effortless fix that sharpens your recall without you having to memorize a single thing. As we get older, many of us start to feel a little pang of anxiety every time we draw a blank on a name. We tend to think of our brain like a hard drive that gets too full, so files start getting lost. But that's not really how it works. The real issue is much more interesting. It's not that your brain is losing information, it's that it's not properly hearing it in the first place. When you meet someone new or run into an old acquaintance, your attention is often split into a dozen different directions. You're thinking about the handshake, the noise in the room, what you're going to say next, or even just trying to remember if you turn the car lights off. The name goes in one ear and floats around in the air without ever really landing. The problem isn't memory loss. It's a lack of focus during the split second when the name is said. Think about how you feel when you walk into a room and forget why you went there. It's scary for a second, but usually it's because you were thinking about 3 other things while walking down the hallway. The brain never fully committed to the task because you were distracted. Names are exactly the same. To remember a name later, you have to truly hear it now. There is a part of the brain called the hippocampus that plays a major role in moving short-term memories into long-term storage. For that transfer to happen, you need to give the brain a quiet moment to process. If you just nod and say, "Nice to meet you" on autopilot, you're not giving your hippocampus any time to capture that sound. Now, the fix isn't about doing crossword puzzles for hours or taking a supplement that claims to supercharge your brain overnight. The simple fix is to engage something called multisensory association. It sounds technical, but it's something we all did naturally when we were younger without realizing it. It involves linking a name to a picture, a sound, or a feeling instantly. When a name is just a word, it floats away. When a name is connected to a vivid image or a familiar story, it sticks like glue. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine you're at a retirement social or a family gathering, and your neighbor introduces you to her cousin named Rose. Now, most of us will just say, "Hi, Rose," and instantly start worrying about what to say next. That's the habit that loses the name. Instead, in that exact moment of the handshake, I want you to silently take 1 second and picture a giant red blooming rose sitting right on top of her head. You don't have to stare, and you don't have to be weird about it. It's a private, split-second snapshot in your mind. That small mental image connects the abstract word rose to a concrete, unforgettable visual. Hours later, when you see that face again, your brain won't just search for a word. It will recall the picture, and the name Rose will pop right out. This works for any name, no matter how unique or old-fashioned. If you meet a man named Bill, don't just hear the name. Instantly picture a dollar bill with his face on it. If you meet someone named Daisy, picture the flower growing out of their eyeglasses. The more silly or exaggerated the image, the better your brain holds on to it. Seniors often don't realize that our brains are actually wired to remember images far better than sounds. Our ancestors didn't have phone books. They remembered where the berries were by remembering what the bush looked like. When you turn a name into a picture, you're speaking the native language of your memory. But there is a second layer to this fix, and it's just as important. Many seniors don't realize that the anxiety of forgetting a name actually causes you to forget it faster. When you panic and tell yourself, "Oh no, I'm terrible with names, I'm going to lose it," your brain releases a little bit of cortisol, the stress hormone. Cortisol is like kryptonite for memory recall. It blocks the very pathways you're trying to use. So, the first step is to trust that the name will be there. I want you to replace the phrase, "I'm bad at remembering names," with "I take a second to see names." By saying that, you're telling your brain that this isn't a crisis. It's just a skill. Let me walk you through how this plays out in a real-life scenario. Say you're at the grocery store, and you bump into a woman you met at church 3 weeks ago. She's walking toward you with a shopping cart, and you freeze. The face is familiar, but the name is gone. The old habit is to look down at the floor and hope she doesn't notice you, or to mumble, "Hey, you!" and feel embarrassed for the rest of the afternoon. But you're going to break that cycle. The next time you meet someone, whether it's a new doctor or a neighbor, repeat their name out loud immediately. Don't just nod. Look them kindly in the eye and say, "It's a pleasure, Robert." That repetition fires the muscles in your mouth, which sends another signal to the brain that this information is important. Then, a few seconds later, as the conversation starts, repeat it internally one more time. That's Robert. It takes no extra time, but it triples the chance of recall. Now, what about those names that have been lost for years? The faces you see at a class reunion but haven't spoken to in decades. Don't be too hard on yourself here. That long-term storage is a different mechanism. For those, don't struggle silently. It's okay to be honest and warm about it. You can say, "I remember your smile so clearly, but your name is escaping me." That honesty takes the pressure off your brain, and when they say their name, use the visualization technique right there on the spot. You will be amazed at how quickly it comes back next time. The beauty of this is that it works better with age, not worse. You have a lifetime of memories to use as hooks. When you meet a young person named Marilyn, you don't just see their face, you instantly attach their name to the memory of Marilyn Monroe. You have a library of images in your mind that a 20-year-old simply doesn't have. Your age becomes your greatest advantage in this exercise because you have more references to pull from. So let's put this all together into one simple daily habit. The next time you introduce yourself to someone, just pause. Block out the background noise for 1 second. Look at one defining feature on their face, and snap a silly mental picture connecting that feature to their name. That's it. You're not trying to memorize a phone book. You're just watching a little private movie in your head. This simple habit could make a big difference in how you connect with people. It removes the fear of embarrassment, and that allows you to be present in the moment. Instead of worrying about forgetting a name, you're fully listening to the person's story. And being fully present is the real secret to staying sharp. I hope this takes some weight off your shoulders. You are not losing your edge, you just needed to tweak the volume on your focus. If this gave you a little peace of mind, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps more than you know. Most of all, go out this week and try that rose trick. Watch what happens when you just take that one extra second to see the name. Thanks for being here, and take good care. It's completely normal to still forget a name now and then, even after you start using these mental snapshots. So if that happens, here's a gentle way to recover that keeps your confidence intact and actually makes the other person feel valued. Instead of apologizing or getting flustered, simply smile and say, "Please tell me your name again." That's it. No long explanation, no embarrassment. When you say it with warmth, you're not admitting defeat. You're showing that you genuinely care enough to ask again. Most people are flattered by that. They'd much rather you ask than pretend you remember and stay silent. Once they say their name, immediately lock it in with the image technique we talked about. Right there, in that moment, picture something vivid. If her name is June, picture a bright summer sun shining right over her shoulder. If his name is Frank, picture a hot dog. Make it quick and a little playful. That mental snapshot right after the second chance makes it almost impossible to forget again. And here's the hidden benefit. That tiny moment of shared honesty often deepens the connection far more than a flawless memory ever could. Now, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with one bonus tip that most people completely overlook. The best time to strengthen your recall isn't during the introduction. It's 10 minutes later. After you've left the conversation, whether you're walking back to your car or waiting for your coffee, do a quiet review. Silently say the names you just learned. Picture the faces and the silly images you attached to them. Visualize the person's smile and replay their name in your mind 2 or 3 times. This takes less than 30 seconds and requires no special tools, but it acts like a save button on a computer. That small act of replay tells your brain this information is worth keeping for the long term. Remember, a forgotten name is never a sign that your mind is slipping away. It's a sign that you're human, you're living a full life, and you simply need a better system to capture the details. You now have that system. You're going to feel a quiet confidence the next time you walk into a room full of people. Instead of scanning faces with worry, you'll look around and see the pictures you've painted, each one bringing the right name right to the tip of your tongue. You're going to leave a trail of warm, connected moments, and that's what staying sharp is really all about. If this brought you a little comfort or clarity, please tap that like button and subscribe so you won't miss our next conversation. Share this with a friend who always says, "I'm terrible with names." They'll thank you. Until next time, take a deep breath, trust your wonderful mind, and keep making those beautiful connections.